Hello, I'm Rosario Ponte, and I wanted to talk about an intensive eye study. And at the beginning, what I would like to say is that in the eye, not everybody noticed that it's always in shadow because it's inside a cavity. And no matter what, your eyes are big, small, whatever the size it is, it really doesn't matter. The eyeball always is inside that cavity. Okay? So whenever we are doing drawings or paintings, um, to have the to be aware that that is inside a cavity, like a cave. It's impossible that the light of the forehead or the cheeks or the nose will be the same inside the orbit of the eye. So I have in here a little bit more of explanation because I really like this drawing where you see the shape of the cavity that is not round, it has a specific shape. Inside the cavity is the eye, the ball of the eye, plus the eyelid, upper and lower. Inside is the eye of the ball. Okay? The ball of the eye, sorry. In here, there are many shapes of eyes in different directions. As you can see, these are samples. Usually, the separation between one eye and the other one is another eye. It's about the same size. In here, there is an example of drippy eyes, small, big, squarey, round, triangle, different kind. And the line shows that not always the beginning of the eye ends the same way in the same direction. I'll show you another picture of that. Okay. In here, we can see the upper lid, the lower lid, and different poses. This is a profile. This is a semi. A little bit more front and front. And as you can see, the upper eyelid is thicker than the lower lid. So it gives a shadow to the ball, to the white ball of the eye. It gives a shadow. Plus, everything moves. Everything moves. The ball of the eye. See how the eye until it comes right in front of you. Well, in Canvas, we always have to show the different directions to where the eye is looking at. And that changes the shadows and the light of the eye also. See, this will give a shadow to the eye of the ball. That's why we never make or paint the white of the eye with the white of the tube. There's no way, because it's inside a cave. Also, the eyelid, this is a good way to see it. This is like a sleepy eye, semi-open, open. I like to work with samples. I really do. In here, an example of drippy eyes. An example where the wall of the nose is, the other bone, the cheekbone, the eyebrow bone, and you can see the skin, the eyelid, and the thickness, how it works. Example of drippy eyes. Also in the eyes, you never show the upper part. You never show the upper part or the lower part of the iris. It always shows only the size. That way, you never do like a circle inside, because you're not going to be able to see the up, the top, and the bottom. So usually you do just like 2 lines. In here, I have an example of my friend here, which helps me a lot to see how the eye comes having this. This line is the crease of the eye, which is usually burnt sienna. And the rest is very warm, because since this is a plane that goes out, it gets the reflection of the light, either of the floor or whatever is in front of that person. So it is really warm. It's shadow. Shadows are warm, but the reflection is either a stronger reflection, very warm instead of warm. The wall and this makes the eye. And if we don't show in a flat surface a three-dimensional eye, then it looks flat. When we were kids, we used to draw an eye like a fish, totally a fish, but in more interesting shapes, according to many readings that I have done. The eye of the viewer goes more to the straight lines than to the curves line. The curved line, imagine a wave, but imagine that wave made with straight, 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 straight lines. Imagine it that way. So having this line, and this, that makes 3 lines to make the eye. Same thing with the crease of the eye. It's a straight line straight line, and straight line. At the bottom, a straight line and another straight line. That we need to be aware because having a circle made with straight line is more interesting to the eye, is more attractive to the eye than making the circle. And how do you do the circle? Just let's say 2 inches by 2 inches, that makes a square. You need to have a square first. And then you start cutting the corners, cutting the four corners, and then cutting the new corners that appears because of the straight lines. And at the end, you will find that you have a perfect circle. That is more interesting than going in a circle with a compass or with your mind. This is much better. That's an example to tell you about the eye. It is much, much simpler to draw or paint straight lines than wavy lines. As you can see, everything here, all the planes are made with straight lines. So we need to cut that pattern that we have in our brain. This is an example of an eye that I painted. And in here, you can see very clear how I use, let me put it this way, for the eyebrows, I use the brush. And then with the skin color, everything wet, of course. This was all made in wet. I came with the back of the brush and I did lines like this, not in real order, but just the real way the eyebrows usually dance. In here, there is no crease of the eye because she doesn't have enough skin or enough fat here to make it. So what do? Still, you draw a thick line with the straight lines, and then you go with a flat brush. You can go either like this and erase a little bit the line, or you can go with the color of the eyelid here, and this color you can go with the brush in between half and half. You can go like this and have it soften. If that is enough, you keep on going like this or a little bit like this. That way, you soften every time that crease that in this lady, she doesn't have. As you can see, the white eye of the eye, there is always shadow here, besides the shadow of the eyelashes and or the thickness of the upper eyelid. To explain more about this circle, I have here something that I always use with my students, and I like it a lot. Every circle has a light and a shadow. Inside the shadow, there is reflection, which is lighter than the shadow, but is not as light as the light. Although in this circle, there is the light is hitting here, right here, the end of the circle, which is this one, is still in a little shadow. The other side, of course. Well, let's say that the ball of the eye is there. So you need to show the size with a shadow, and of course, where the eyelid and the eyelashes hit, you show all that. Here will be the iris and the pupil. Having said that, is for you to understand that if you put light all over the white of the eye immediately becomes flat. It doesn't have a perspective. So now, the idea of the warm and cool colors, I don't know, maybe I'll finish explaining that. The light is always cool. The shadow is always warm. The reflection is always very warm. There is a shadow here, cast shadow, which is darker, where they sit or they kiss, but it's cast shadow. It's not from the object, but also has the darker and the reflection of the white sphere hitting here, and this bouncing back to the sphere, the white sphere. So both are giving reflection. This means the sun hitting. This means warm because it's shadow. This means cool because it's light. This means very, very cool. Here, warm, very warm, 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 cool. Why is cool over here and over here and over here? Those are edges, and all the edges are cool because cool tends to go back in color. When you want to do a painting where you want the very front for the viewer, you want it to be visible, you have to make it warm because it's like it pop out more than a cool color. A cool color makes you go farther. And that's why I really like, for cool colors, I really like magenta made by myself, no by the tube. The magenta by the tube is too pinky, is too unreal. The magenta made by yourself, it will be ultramarine, it will be alizarin crimson, and it will be a little bit of white. And you can have 2 or 3 kinds of magenta. One will be more toward the blue. The other one could be more toward the pink. And the middle, it will be something in between the other two, but still is a magenta. I usually tell my students to have that before starting a painting, to have that ready as another color, but made by them. And that way, um, all the cool colors you can make yourself. You can make an edge in your canvas with a very cadmium red light, make an edge, and make another color like green, yellow, and then in the middle, you're going to see a very sharp edge. But if you apply the magenta in the very middle of those two lines, they will soften and go away with no sharp lines. So that's what usually I advise, to have everything around. And in this case, it will be the face. In this case, it will be the face. I usually, when I'm going to do a portrait, I usually draw in raw umber and turpentine at the beginning, so it will be very light. But then when I redraw to make sure that everything, all the dimensions are correct, I do it with medium, which is linseed oil for me, and raw umber. And it will turn, everything will turn a lot darker. After I do that and I start painting, I use all the borders. All the borders, I use magenta. And depending of the color that I have next to it, I will do it more toward the blue, more toward the red, or in the middle. Magenta is a very cool color, but that's very interesting to have on a palette. So my advice to you, it will be to make the drawing of the eye considering that not all the eyes start and end in the same level. Let's see over here. This, let me put it in here. This is a stray in this case. This, look at the beginning and look at the end. Let's put it this way. And look at the end, and now look at the beginning. See, the eye is like slanted. So that is something that we need to consider when we are drawing an eye. It will be where the eye starts, where it ends, the distance between this eye and the other eye, that it will be most of the times will be an eye. And making sure that you draw crease or the fat and the eyebrows at the beginning and the wall that is within the cavity of the eye, and that will give you a lot of information to continue with the eye. Don't ever forget the shadows in the sides. Don't ever forget that the white of the eye is never pure white from the two. You need to make it. The eye of the ball is usually gray, which is black and white, but it has a little bit of warmth. So I just touch the raw sienna and mix it together. But from the lacrimal of the eye, you see that it's very red. Why? Because there are a lot of veins that are blue, red, mainly red. That's what a lot of people, including me, the white of the eye is very red. Not extremely red, but it has a lot of red. So you need to be conscious of that detail and add in that gray that I told you to do with black, white, and a touch of raw sienna to add a little bit of cadmium red light. And that will make the white of the eye much more realistic, much more natural, and making the size of the eyes in shadow and the bottom of the upper eyelid in shadow also. Also, when the eye goes in and goes in and go out right here, the colors become warm and warm because they are going in. In other words, I'm telling you about one eye, but the result is that the whole face is like this. I don't mean round, but it's full of round shapes. Okay? It's full of round shapes. Why? Because when you do the nose, you have to apply the same technique that I show you about the eye. When it gets in, when it gets in, in is shadow. And shadows are warm. So when you do warm and the light is cool, but not as light as the forehead, because this is within a cave, same thing happens here. Warm or very warm, and cool and a little bit warm also. What happens when you do lips? That's another sphere. Why? Because our face is not flat. Our face go like this, go far, go far, go far, go far. So you treat eyes, nose, and lips and the contour of the face the same way. How? In the lips. The lips are going back in both sides, and this is the front. So what happened? The back, the back, the back, it goes away, is warm because it is in shadow, because the light that hits the top of the eyelid, the top of the nose, and the top of the lower, because these lips go in, cannot receive the light that is hitting in this lower lip. Same thing over here. This is never the same color because in here is in, out, and in again. So you need to show that in front. In here, you can see the ball. Here, you can see the ball. Here, you can see the ball. And everything is round, round, neck, round. That way, you'll know where the light hits always. You never put a light in the upper lip because you contradict. You are contradicting what you are teaching. See? So you treat the eye as a ball, the nose as a ball, and the lips that usually people do the lips all straight. There are many, many forms in the lips that you are not aware, especially lines. This is a plane made by geometrical shapes for people to see and visualize more the muscles and the way that the face is constructed. But the lips, we always paint the lips like me, red and with a lot of line, but the lips are not made like that. You can make the lips always dark, the upper lip, light the middle, shadow in the sides. If you do the lips all the way the same, then the lips are never gonna go back. They are gonna be totally straight. So the lips consist in making the drawing, yes. Feel the dark, yes. Make the drawing, yes. But then you need to realize that there is no line and you need to erase it. Erase it. Never go like this. No, I mean like that. Flat all the way. And same thing over here. You can go like this, and erase all the line of the lips. Unless there is a woman that has lipstick on, then you need to do the lines sharp. There is no other way. But the natural way is no line in the lips. So I hope I gave you some good tips, and I hope you can subscribe to my channel. I have a mentorship program, and I'll be glad to give some tutoring. I teach classes also in by Zoom on Tuesday in Spanish and on Saturday morning in English. So in all my YouTube channel, you will always find the way to contact me, give me comments, even in this video. I would love to hear from you if you learned something or if you want me to cover other issues that you have in my next talk. In my program, what I do is that I'll there are many painters, uh, I would say more intermediate, that sometimes uh, they do a painting, but they get stuck. They know that the painting is not right, that is missing something, but they don't know what to do. So that's what I'm here for. My mentorship program consists in having that kind of students that they are stuck with a painting. They don't know what else to do to finish it, and they know that there's something wrong or missing, and that's what I teach. I help to level up those paintings and I give more professional critiques and to be able for you to either sell it or if it's made just right for you, enjoy it, but you will be very satisfied. And same thing in drawing. I have some students that do painting and other students who do drawing. And it doesn't matter because when I teach a class, I teach individually. I mean, everybody is listening, everybody is watching, but I'm giving the critique to a specific person. And the good thing about this is that listening to the critiques of the other ones is a way of us learning. I remember when I was with Daniel Green that I took many, many workshops in New York, and he passed a few years ago, but he was for me one of my mentors, my masters, my heroes in art. And he would always say to everybody quiet so you can listen to the critique, although you are painting your own. And that was true. That was true. Oh, you are painting, you are concentrating painting, but you are listening to the critique and learning a lot by just listening. And sometimes, I will go to the place where the Daniel Green was teaching a student to fix some errors. And wow, it was amazing. Not to see only my errors, is to see the other ones and how to fix it. What was the solution? So I highly recommend you try me with 15 minutes, I believe, of conversation, a talk. And I will let you know if you are a good fit for my group. I only have a few spots left, but I'll be more than glad to see your work and see in which level you are in to help you with your work. I'm Rosario Ponte, and I'm very glad you were here and learned something. I enjoyed the class. I hope you did it too. Thank you. Ay, I don't know where to stop it. This is my first live, so I don't know where to stop it.